Said I don't fit in just because I wear my hair the way I like it.
1 out of 5 American girls suffer from mental health problems. Don't be that girl. Talk to someone.
Those thoughts I had are long gone, for I have a future I need to get to.
In order to get better, I had to do better. I learned how to make friends.
I believe in myself. That's when everyone else did, I set an example.
Instead of me eating everything, I started watching my calories. The weight is falling off.
I wanted to change my hair, but I decided it was for me. It's for me.
A PSA from the Curvy Girl Project.
Welcome to Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we've got a very, very fun-packed half an hour for you today with my special guest. And a lot of people don't really know much about uh, riding horses. They know how to ride bikes, know how to ride in cars. But today we're going to be talking about riding horses. We're going to talk about the rodeo. We're going to be talking about uh, roping steers, and roping horses, and doing all kind of good things, and with the clowns that'll be out there at the rodeo. But for your children, you're gonna have a lot of good, fun activities to do with them at this Midwest rodeo with my guests today. So definitely, you don't want to miss this show. But before we get started, our calling numbers today are area code 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. And you're watching us live today from the awesome cities of Detroit, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Mike Duggan, as well as the phenomenal city of Highland Park, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Glenda McDonald. But before we get started, just want to do a couple of things. One, want to tell Sharon Dumas to get well, and we're praying for your health and wellness. Also want to give a shout out to my good friend, my APRI Detroit Downriver sister, Aletha Smith, and want to wish her well in upcoming endeavors that she is striving for, as well as to make just a few little quick announcements real quick. As you see from my shirt, I'm on the executive board with an organization called Western Wayne County NAACP. And my good friend Marvin Franklin, who's our educational chair, is presenting the Western Wayne County NAACP Education Committee. They're having their first annual golf outing, and it's going to be July the 1st. That's on a Saturday, and it's going to be at the Taylor Meadows Golf Club. That's located at 25360 Ecorse Road. And if you'd like to get more information about that golf outing, you can contact Marvin Franklin at area code 313-658-3831. Again, that phone number is area code 734-658-3831. Or you can visit on www.westernwaynecountynaacp.com for more information. And then also, too, if you'd like to discover your path, there's going to be a skill trades show that's going to be presented in Wayne, Michigan. It's going to be at Hype Athletics at 4635 Howell Road in Wayne, Michigan. And students will get an opportunity to explore, engage, and interact with a wide variety of career pathways in skilled trades, the military, healthcare, and more. So if you want to get more information, about it, you can register by Registration was by April the 28th, but you can attend it. It's going to be Thursday, May the 18th, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, that's going to be at Hype Athletics, 4635 Howell Street in Wayne, Michigan. And to get more information, you can go to www.wwcsd.net/discover your path. Okay, this has been, I'm very, very honored to get a chance to meet the legacy. Last year and the year before that, we had her mother, Miss Nicole Scott, on the show with us. And this year, we got her legacy and her lifeline, her the wind that also, beats, in terms of say, breeze beneath her wind, the wind that goes underneath her sails, underneath her wings. But she is somebody who, as you will be able to hear, is carrying the torch very, very proudly. And just learned a couple other things about my special guest today. She's also one of the newest council people in the awesome city of Inkster, Michigan, under the auspices of the Honorable Mayor Patrick Wimbley. So my special guest today is a young lady who is very, very known throughout the rodeo circuit, but will be known a lot more in the City Hall as well as in the community in District 3 in the awesome city of Inkster, Michigan. And her name is Lindsay Scott. And Ms. Scott is now the Director of Operations for the Midwest Invitational Rodeo. And Ms. Scott, thank you for coming on the show. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman to be.
Yes, to be.
Okay, to be.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
But just to kind of give a little bit of a quick announcement in terms of say about you are now going to be one of the newest city council people in the city of Inkster.
Yes.
Talk about how did that happen?
How did it happen? So when I came home from college, I've been living with my mom for a couple years now. And, like when you just see things in your city, and I think it's easy to complain about, right? It's easy to say, well, if I was in council, I would do this, or, I would do that. And so, I really was just like, I need to make that change, and I need to be the change. And so that's kind of how I got into city council. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, and it's worked out. I'm currently running unopposed. So it's looking pretty good for me. But so just to be the change, ultimately, I think us young people really need to step up and kind of take control of ourselves, our futures as well.
So for a lot of the young people that may be looking at the show or just kind of give some advice that you would give to somebody who may be aspiring to be the next Lindsay Scott or the next Kamala Harris or Ketanji Brown Phillips, give that advice that you would give.
Advice. I would just say go for it, right? I think I have a great support system. My family is super supportive in everything, every good and bad idea I have. They're just kind of like, let's see how it goes. So just that support system, but also just believing in yourself, right? When I first started, I was like, I don't think I can do this. And naturally I just started doubting myself. But now that I'm here, it's like, no, you really can do anything you set your mind to. And so I think just believing in yourself, and just putting in that work. There's times that I'm busier than I would like, right? I don't get to do the stuff that normal 25, 26-year-olds get to do, right? But it's worth it. It's a long-term sacrifice for me, future Lindsay. And also, just aspire to be your best self. I don't, look and say, oh, I want to be, let's say, the future Kamala Harris, right? I just say, I want to be the best Lindsay Scott I can be, And so how do I get Lindsay Scott to the next level?
Now, before we get to the rodeo, I want to ask you another political question.
Yeah.
Just talk to me and tell me, a lot of young people need to get out and find out more about civic engagement.
Yes.
I talk about that a lot on my radio show, in terms of say that people need to get more involved in civic engagement. Knowing who the president is or some of the former presidents, and knowing who the mayor of a city that they live in, or even the council people that are there in that city. How do you? What are some of the things that you could suggest to try and get more young people engaged in the political process?
Ooh, more engaged.
Because I mean, the thing,
I feel like it's upward fight for every politician, every parent, every
which you will soon be, as
yeah,
far as say,
yes.
you know, as far as say with the politician, you know, because
Absolutely.
once you get in that seat, then it's a matter of then getting back into the campaign mode, you know, once your term of office is coming to a close, as to whether or not if that's something that you want to continue or if you have other aspirations. But, you know, it's difficult because I talk about that all the time, trying to find ways to get more young people engaged
Yes.
in the process, get more engaged than learning about city government or federal government or even state government.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing to try and get more young people, because sometimes people feel like, hey, you know, you're not speaking to them
Yeah.
and or speaking at them. You're speaking, you know, you need to do more engaging them in the process.
Absolutely.
And that's what, you know, I'm saying that you got to kind of look at. But, you know, it sounds like you've got a good foundation, but it's just trying to bring the young people in. Because we need to get more and more young people. One, registered to vote. Two, feeling like there are issues that could be something that they could ascend into once they get older. And, you know, we do a lot of voter registration, especially in the high schools, trying to get more young people, you know, to get registered. And that's one of the things that, as you were saying earlier, and I love the way you were saying it, trying to go and get more young people, especially somebody who may have aspirations to want to get into the political arena, what to do and how to look at that dream, but make that dream manifest and become reality.
Absolutely.
So we'll be hearing more and more about
Yeah.
that from you
Absolutely.
as the time goes on. So let's get into the rodeo.
Okay.
The rodeo is something is that something that you wanted to do, or you kind of inherited that that mindset from your mother, Miss Nicole Scott, or what really kind of thrust you into that arena?
And this is like a running joke amongst like me and my siblings, so that's why I like giggled a little bit. But I think as any child, right, we want to help our parents, we want to support our parents. And so I am the one who rides horses. I actually do enjoy riding, yes. I don't compete, but I do enjoy riding. And so since I was younger. So when my mom started the rodeo, I didn't think I'd be in this deep, honestly. But I think it just comes on to say that every kid just kind of wants to support that parent in any way that we can. So for my siblings and I, we kind of take what we're good at and we apply it to the business. And I think that's how we've gotten in, you know, so deep. So just kind of, I guess, just taking on the reins. And so now I guess it's mine, right? I guess it's the next generation of rodeo, Midwest Invitational Rodeo. But did I want it? Not necessarily.
So talk about the history of the rodeo. I mean, when did your mother start it? What inspired her to start it? And then what were some of the obstacles that she may have had, you know, when she did try and get it started?
So I think, so she started off in 2017. So we had a few more markets. She started off with a few partners at the time. But there was no rodeo circuit or just rodeo in general in Detroit, in Michigan. I know it came 30-something years ago. It was here. The Bill Pickett Rodeo came.
Right.
But as of recent, we haven't had one. And so with my mom being heavily kind of in the rodeo scene, she was like, you know, I want one in my backyard. So that's kind of how we got here. So it's been tough. It's been tough. Just it's like any business, right? You're just starting from the ground up. Just trying to get people aware of rodeo, of Black rodeo. And I think when we kind of started, Juneteenth started taking off as like a holiday. I think maybe 2 years after we started the rodeo, it became a national holiday. And so I would say that also helped us a lot in the beginning. But I would say just getting exposure has been was one of the biggest issues that we've had. Now, God has blessed us to sell out shows and having practically a mini festival. But in the beginning, like any small business, it was rough.
Now, talk about in terms of, now this is a how many day affair?
3 days.
3 days.
Or no, sorry, 2 days.
2
2
days,
days.
okay.
We have 3 shows. So
Okay.
this year we're doing a youth rodeo the morning of Friday the 9th. So it starts at noon. And so we're inviting
And that's the 9th of next month, right?
Yes, of June.
June,
Sorry,
okay,
June 9th.
okay.
Yes, sorry, June 9th. We're having a youth rodeo at noon. So we're just bringing in a lot of local Metro Detroit schools. And it's like a version of it's like a slowed down rodeo. So we kind of tackle the characters a little bit more. We dissect the events, right? Like how did someone decide they want to ride a horse next to a cow and jump off, right? Like how did that come about? So we kind of dive into that. And then Friday night, we have our first show at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, I say when the party starts, we have our day party starting at 3 and it goes 3 to 7. And then our rodeo starts at 7.
So talk about the events that you have at the rodeo.
Yeah, so we have barrel racing. We
You say
have
barrel
racing. Yeah.
Kind of explain to, the novice persons that
Yeah.
may not know that much about the rodeo circuit. What do you mean when you say barrel racing?
Barrel racing. So it's a women's event, and so our women are in a triangular pattern.
You say it's a women's event?
It's a women's event.
Okay.
It's a women's event.
Okay.
For us, so unfortunately in rodeo, women don't have as many events, and so we like to highlight those events specifically, for women. So it's barrel racing. They pretty much go around 3 barrels, and the fastest time wins.
Is that the one that would you do the zigzag kind of weave in
exactly.
and out of the barrel?
Yep, it's a
Okay.
special pattern they have to run. If they break pattern, time is deducted. If they knock a barrel over, time is deducted. I tried it a few times. It's not easy. So I know it's easy to say I could do that. No, you cannot. It's super hard. So my hat goes off to all those women. We have steer and decorating. So it's when it's another women's event. So women are pretty much running next to their cow and trying to get a piece of tape or a flag off the back of the cow or the
No,
calf.
they have to lean over.
Have to lean practically off their horse and and grab the flag. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna
Go
talk
in.
about how novice that I am when it comes to how naive I am when it comes to this. Because I used to see the old the cowboy movies, and I'd see the women riding side saddle as opposed to riding the way
Yeah.
that the men were riding.
Yeah.
So now I'm sounding as naive as I am. So now women ride the same as the men do in
Yes.
terms of say not side saddle, but they ride the same as the men.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
they're leaning over, taking this ribbon
Yes.
from off of the
going 15 miles an hour, right? 15.
50
15
miles an hour,
15.
riding on
Yeah.
the horse, leaning over, trying
Yeah.
to grab
Yep, trying to
off
follow.
off the cow or off the calf.
Calf, yes.
And then, so what is it? Is it time to where you grab the ribbon
time.
the fastest?
Yep,
or-
it's a timed event. So yeah, whoever can grab the ribbon the fastest gets the money. Ultimately, that's how that works. We have steer wrestling, calf roping, and then
okay, so let me back up.
yeah,
When you
sorry,
say
I know, I'm
the steer wrestling.
yes. So
Now I'm used to seeing that when I see that on the rodeo, on TV and that kind of thing, and where they actually kind of almost jump off the horse,
yes,
grab hold to the steer by the horns, and then
And
bring them down
bring 'em
to the
down.
ground.
Yep.
Women do this too?
No.
Okay,
no.
okay. That
No,
was my question.
No,
then. Okay.
yeah, I'm sure they could, right? If they choose to, we wouldn't discourage it, but
Okay.
as of
But
now,
not-
no.
not yet.
Yes, not
Okay,
yet, not
okay.
yet. Yeah, they're physically wrestling a calf to the ground. So yeah, steer wrestling. And then,
Now, that's another event that's timed as well too?
yeah, so all rodeo events are timed ultimately, and that's kind of how we decide who wins. Is usually the quickest time wins.
So now when they wrestle the calf or wrestle the cow down, okay, is that the one where they wrestle the cow down and they tie the feet together, or is
So
that different?
that is calf roping. So
Okay.
that is the one where they're on the back of the horse. They lasso the cow, drop it down, I guess, to the ground, and tie the feet, and then the quickest one wins.
Is that part of the rodeo circuit
Yes,
as well?
yes,
Okay.
yep.
So let me not jump ahead of the schedule.
No,
So
you're
you were
totally
saying-
fine. You're totally
you were
fine.
saying, okay, so the steer wrestling,
Yeah, steer
and
wrestling.
then what else besides that?
Then the calf roping
Then the
that
calf
we just
roping.
discussed,
Okay.
yes. And then our most popular event is the bull riding. So that's just when a cowboy gets on the back of a bull and tries to hold on as long as they can. And then whoever can hold on the longest wins, ultimately.
What's the record for somebody riding bull?
Ooh, that's a trick question. I don't know that.
But I mean, I'm just saying. So like, the average time that somebody could ride a bull would be about how many?
About 8 seconds.
That's what I thought. That's
Yep,
what I was
8
wondering because I
seconds.
saw that movie that
Yes,
they had
yeah,
called
yes.
8 Seconds.
8 seconds.
Years ago.
Yep.
And so there hasn't been anybody. That's the average time is 8
Yep,
seconds.
that's the kind of like when the buzzer goes off. So the average person does not make it to 8 seconds, which is crazy to think about, right? Like 8 seconds, you can't hold on to something for 8 seconds, but no. So that's kind of like when the buzzer goes off. It's really hard to make it to that 8 seconds, but if you can hold on that long, your chances of winning are pretty good.
So now, when I see that and I'm seeing the person thrown off the bull, it's important that those clowns or the other
Yes.
people have to come out and pretty much like kind of let them know that, hey, I'm going to distract the bull so
Yep.
that they can get in, out of harm's way.
Exactly. Yep. And that's exactly it. There's people who's literally that's their job to make sure that the Cowboys can get up and get out the arena safe before I guess they get the Bulls' attention again, right? So and just to make sure because they are on the back of a bull, so sometimes they could fall and get hurt, or it may take them a little longer to get up than normal. So the clowns are there to kind of make sure that the bull's distracted, so we can do that. But they are trained bucking bulls, so
Okay.
they know what they're doing. They have a job, and so they're usually like, once you get off their back, they're fine most of the time.
Well, now, when you do the rodeo, is this something you take around the country? Is this a circuit that you do all over the United States, or is it pretty much centered around a certain area?
So there are black traveling rodeos around the United States. However, for us right now, we're only in Detroit. We
Okay.
say we want to perfect this market, really just get good at it before we decide to take it somewhere that we're less familiar with. So we are looking to add a few more shows next year
Okay.
to our circuit. But as of now, as of this year, this is all we have.
And
So.
give the location where you're going to be at this year.
Yeah, so we'll be at Wayne County Fairgrounds in Belleville, Michigan. So it is, I have to show you, 10871 Cork Road, Belleville, Michigan. And so we tell people like when you see the Cracker Barrel off 94, it's right behind that. So
Oh, okay. Cork Road, right there by.
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about,
yep,
right there.
yes.
So now, give in terms of give the times, give the the events that are going to occur. So I know you said there was going to be a youth.
Yep, we have a youth rodeo starting at noon, June 9th.
Okay.
And then we have our second rodeo that day at 7 p.m. And then we start all on time every time. So 7 p.m. on the dot. And then Saturday we have our day rodeo, our day party, starts at 3 p.m. And then we have our night rodeo at 7 p.m. And then we are having an after party directly after the rodeo this year. It'll be at the Bayou Grill in Belleville.
Okay. So now, let's talk about more of the events. So like for children, because I think years past, you gave the children an opportunity to come and they could meet the cowboys or meet the cowgirls and,
Absolutely.
and interact with a lot of the participants, there. Talk more about that in terms, say, for, what are more the youth-friendly type things that.
Yeah, so we are partnering with 4-H, so Michigan State's 4-H, and so they're bringing out a booth, a very interactive booth. We have a lot of like school districts coming. Everyone has like informational booths, so there'll be a lot of like activities for children. So we have like a mechanical bull. We have like I think a rock climbing wall is supposed to come this year. We have 4-H that kind of talk about agriculture. Farm Bureaus bring their milking cow. So
the children can actually get a chance to
milk a fake cow, right?
Okay.
And so you can simulate that. So
Okay.
that'll be interesting.
Oh, it's a fake cow.
Yeah, it's a fake cow.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
yeah,
Okay,
that's a
go ahead.
liability. Yeah.
Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. So they'll be able to do that. So a lot of our booths this year are interactive for children. We wanted to kind of focus that. I know last year was kind of, it's a family event for sure, but it can be more fun for adults sometimes. So this year we have a lot of booths that's kind of like catering to students and our youth. So
Okay, and now, what is the cost? And then if somebody wanted to get tickets ahead of time, what would they have to do?
So our pre-sale ticket currently is the $20 on Eventbrite. So you can go to MidwestInvitational.com and you can click the home screen, get tickets, and then you can choose which day you'd like. And then it's $25 day of show.
And give the location. So we want to make sure that the people that might not have had the pen or pencil to write the information down.
Here I am talking.
Give the information again.
It is Wayne County Fairgrounds in Belleville, Michigan. So it is 10871 Cork Road, Belleville, Michigan, right behind the Cracker Barrel.
So they can find the Cracker Barrel. They can find the
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Or just follow the line of cars coming off 94. That's always fun.
and Lindsay, again, the main thing is that it's a lot of fun for all different ages.
Absolutely.
So somebody can bring, because I think last year, a friend of mine, came out there and he said that he and his fiance, they had a ball when they were watching, and participating. And I think he's like in his late 20s, early 30s. So that's something that, and now he's got a young one that's about 6 months old. So now he can bring his young one there to kind of look and see. And I think this, his young son will probably be excited to see his dad, and his dad can kind of show off and say, "Hey, this is what I did last year." He probably ain't gonna let his son pet one of the, but he'll probably take a picture, right there next to. So for the events that are going to go on now, are they able to get like souvenirs or anything that they can take?
Yep. So we'll be selling T-shirts, water bottles, flasks. We have our hat guy coming back, so you can get one of these.
So they can get a hat like that.
Yeah, they can get a hat just like mine.
I want to ask a question. So for a nice hat like that, about how much is a hat like that?
Ooh, hats can range. There's sometimes people go for about $50.
But I love that hat.
Thank you.
I like that hat.
Thank you. But
I know my head is probably too big, to, but I love that hat.
Yes,
so they can get the hats.
Yes.
And you say they can get the little water flasks and things like that.
Yep. And then we're probably doing an ad book this year as well. So just to kind of, you can meet your cowboys, you can meet the staff, you get to, meet the local community organizations that helped us put it on as well. So, because we're forever grateful for all our sponsors that help us make it happen. So,
give the contact number again if they want to call for more information real quick.
So the contact number is, actually, sorry, we're not doing contact numbers anymore just because it's hard for us to answer all of them.
Gotcha.
So if you email us at rodeo at midwest-invitational.com. So rodeo at midwest-invitational.com.
Well, I know that it's going to be another sellout event. Yes. I know that everybody's going to be lined up right there going along Cork Road to try and get access to come there. But Lindsay Scott, I really want to thank you for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely want to thank your mother, Nicole Scott, for starting this rodeo. So again, we hope that it's going to be a booming, great success.
Thank you so much.
Again this year as well.
Thank you.
You've been watching Expose Under the Sun, sponsored by the Detroit Native Sun News. I'm Darwin Griffin. I'm your host. If you'd like to get a copy of the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, you can contact Ms. Valerie Lockhart at area code 313-457-5944. And again, I do want everybody to go and support this black-owned business person and make certain in terms to say, too, let her be the success, let her daughter be the success, and others that may come out, let them be the success that they are destined to be. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Peace.
Here at the Full and Fabulous Curvy Girl Project, we don't just focus on health, beauty, and self-esteem. We also offer an amazing summer program for young ladies ages 12 to 18. For more information, visit our website at fullandfabulous.org. See you soon.